All right, welcome back to the Run.down post-game show here on the Strickland YouTube channel. If you listen to this the day after Strickland Podcast Network, playoff post-game show. Knicks take game one on the road in Cleveland, 101-97. Shout out to this guy right here on the shirt. I got the Slam shirt. But also shout out Josh Hart. Shout out, Julius Randle. We'll get into all of it. But man, what a statement win, I would say, by the Knicks coming out in this game on the road. Um, Not playing their prettiest basketball, of course. I mean, playoff basketball is usually not pretty. So get used to this if this is your first time watching, playoffs. I know with the Knicks it's been quite some time, but man, um, yeah, this series is gonna be a fun one for us.
Gutter war, in the trenches. This is John Rivers hoop. Like this is the shit that we talk about. This is what your dad be talking about in at the cookout, talking about the '90s Knicks used to hit people, and Jordan used to come into the Garden and be sore for a week, and he had to take the next game off because he didn't want to get hit by Patrick Ewing and Anthony Mason. This is playoff basketball.
Yeah, this is the peak, the epitome of playoff basketball. You got yourselves a nice little duel with Jalen Brunson and Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell, of course, he scored more, but it wasn't enough, as we see by the end result. But man, what a win! I mean, I was like, I'm like partially losing my voice because I was like screaming after every huge bucket, every huge stop. Like that was just like that was fun. That already like outclasses like the last time we were in the playoffs, because like of course we had the whole pumpkin situation with certain players. But yeah, I mean let's just get into this game. I mean, I took notes for this game, so I'm gonna just start out with what happened in the beginning of the game and the flow of the game going throughout. So first key thing that stuck out to me was RJ starting out on Darius Garland. I know there was a lot of concerns about RJ defensively heading into this series, especially like who he would guard out of the two backcourt guys, because like you're not gonna probably stick him on Okoro, or maybe you would have. But he started out on Garland. He actually did a pretty good job on Garland, I would say. He did a great job on him all night. Especially starting out, he got like 2 steals really early on in the game.
Yep.
And I think his length really bothered Garland. So shout out to him for stepping up on defense. I know his offense is still a ways away from where we want it to be. We were still able to get the win despite that, but I will say good on him for showing up on defense. If he can just still give us like this should be the baseline of defense for him for the rest of the series, because he didn't close tonight, and he didn't deserve to close tonight despite the good defense, but he will earn himself more minutes than a lot of people anticipated if he can keep himself this way defensively.
Yep. Like, I have no complaints about RJ Barrett defensively tonight. Like, he got after it. He shut off Garland's water in the second half. Garland cannot do – I don't think Garland took a shot in the second half. Like, and maybe that may be Garland just scared of the moment, but, like, RJ Barrett played great defense all night long. He was really active. He was a great passer out of drives, and that was the thing we talked about, where it's like, hey, man, if you can pass out of your drives, there's something here. And it's like he had 6 assists, 4 steals, 1 turnover. If a couple more of them shots go down, we're talking about RJ Barrett MVP. Like, that was the game defensively of his life. That might be the best defensive game he's ever played. He got the stocks, and we've talked about him not being able to get stocks. He got stocks. He passed out of his drives. He missed a couple bunnies. That's the RJ Barrett experience. He hit a 3, which, thank God, because that 3 was really big. I think the game was tied or about to be tied, or like maybe we were up 1, and he hit a 3, and it really like kept the momentum for us. And it was awful offensive rebound. He wasn't set. Like, it was a really huge 3 at that moment, and cannot see more about his defense. His offense was, again, dreadful, but like if you could get after it on the boards, if you can get after it with your passing, and you can do the things you do defensively, even if you shoot like shit, if you don't shoot well, you play well like that. That's why he was playing on the floor until the last 2 minutes, where like the team just kind of needed offense at that point. But great game from him defensively. I have to keep stressing defensively, because offensively we don't want to talk about it. That's not good. It's not good. But you expect that much because the Twin Towers that Cleveland has. But great game from him defensively. Love to see it. Really good from him. Keep it up. Hit like 4 more shots and we're chilling.
Seriously. Another thing that I noticed early on in this game, and I kind of called it too. Obi was able to spell Randall a whole bunch tonight.
Yes.
Gave us great minutes. I called it too because I was like, if Obi continues this play, continue the way he was playing at the end of the regular season, I thought that Thibs would trust him enough to give Randall some earlier rest minutes. Just because he was coming back from being out for so long, and
Yes.
obviously it would be like an adjustment period. And Thibs did exactly that, and it paid off because Obi hit a three. He was able to get out in transition and leak out. He
Yep.
was he was just disruptive out there, and that's what we need him to do in those minutes that he plays. And hopefully, I mean, if this keeps up, I don't see any reason to change it. I mean, it worked out pretty well tonight, and there's no
Yep.
one on the Cavs that really scares me enough for Obi to like not be out there. I mean, you see guys like Evan Mobley, they're out there smoking layups, Karis LeVert smoking layups. Like
That's
these
normal.
guys, I mean, that's normal for those guys anyways, but like that is the reason why you can trust Obi out there in those moments. He also did a good job rebounding, which like Breen just like had to make such a key of that all night.
That
But
was
yeah,
Leon Rose.
yeah, that was definitely a Leon Rose memo to him. Shout out, he was like definitely shout out Obi rebounding the ball. But yeah, I mean, it was just great to see Obi be able to spell Randall those minutes. Randall came out pretty good in that first half, I would say.
that first
Um,
quarter was.
that
That
first
first
quarter
quarter
was
was great.
great. It made me think that he was gonna get 30. And then the second half happened, and
The
then I was
angle.
like,
Yeah.
oh no, never mind. Thank you, Obi, for these minutes.
Yeah.
But yeah, shout out to Obi. He gave us great minutes. He was able to really give Randall some rest. But yeah,
Which is huge. I wouldn't be surprised if like the plan was to maybe keep Randall at 30 or sub 30, but like with Brunson in foul trouble, you had to have Randall on the court for a little bit longer maybe than anticipated. Like I think the original minute split might have been like 30-18, but then it was like Brunson had 3 fouls. You have to have Randall in there. Like the lineups were like both of them were on the court, weren't on the court were bad. Like they could not score. That I think the defense held up, but they just could not score. And Chip's like, okay, I need Randall in there because ultimately speaking, like I need somebody who could at least take off pressure and be some sort of offensive creator because we'll talk about him soon, but quickly was a little bit tense in these moments and it was very unquickly like, but I mean he still I do feel like he was being a little bit adventurous. But like, yeah, I think the goal was maybe keep Randall like 28 to 30 minutes. They had him at 33 ultimately, which was not the best, but you could live with it. He didn't have the best shooting game, Randall, but like and a couple of those turnovers were just Mitch having Nerlens hands, which really fucking sucks. But I liked his rebounding. He had the best rebound of the night on that offensive rebound.
biggest rebound of the season
Yes,
so far.
easily. Yes, and that was huge. He had double double, 19 and 10, 4 assists, 2 steals. He got after defensively. Mobley could not do anything against him. Mobley could not do anything against him. That was the best defense Randall's played all season. Like, and the first quarter was huge. First half was huge because like Mitchell had it going, Brunson was on the bench, and Randall kind of like took it on himself to really establish that consistency that Brunson usually gives his team. And when Brunson was on the bench, he didn't play the last 5 minutes of the second half. It was huge.
Due to 3 stupid bogus fouls, I will say.
Yes.
But yeah, like they kind of took turns stabilizing the team. Like Randall stabilized the team in the first half because of Jalen Brunson's foul trouble. And just Grimes didn't give us anything really offensively. Quickly didn't give us anything offensively. Mitch was uneven for that first half for the majority of it. So Randall surprisingly was able to stabilize us. And there was a moment where Randall got into it. Was that the first half or the second half? I think it
First
was.
half.
It was the first half. He got into it with Jared Allen, and he was the one that backed away from it.
Jared Allen tried that shit, and he was just like, "What do you like?" Randall looked at it like, "Dude, I'm like 20 pounds heavier than you. Like, you're not built for it." And then Donovan Mitchell tries to like push him away and get the crowd involved, and then Julian's just doing this on the other side. Like,
so shout out to Randall for composing himself in that moment, because that is something that we were concerned about heading into the playoffs. Is like, can he handle these moments, and like what will he do when things aren't going his way, or like things get like a little ultra physical? Will he revert back to old ways, or will he take a step back like he did today? That was good to see him do that. It definitely helped because like Brunson was on the court. Brunson's usually someone that like gets him to ease off those situations. So
Yep.
you know it was good to see Randall keep himself composed.
My man went back to his Zen classes and got back with his.
And
With his
he had 2 weeks off. He had 2 weeks
Yeah.
off.
My man watched White Lotus. He had him signed. He was sipping some wine watching White Lotus, and he was with the kids. He's good.
Yeah, I
But yeah,
mean,
like he
yeah, go
stopped
ahead.
himself, which is good.
Yeah.
You saw him like pulling away and just having like I saw him talking to like Zarba in the third quarter. I was like, oh shit, here it comes. And no, he was composed. It was a good conversation. He was animated, but he wasn't like losing his
Going
head,
at the ref. He wasn't going at him.
which
Like
is
he was
which,
just trying to like clarify, like because you could see Zach Zarba. He was like nodding his head. He was like, "Oh, okay, I missed that. Whatever
okay.
it was." But yeah,
Yeah.
it was good to see that happen. And all right, let's get into the second half, third quarter. It's the Jalen Brunson show.
The Villanova boys.
The Villanova show. It's the Villanova
Yeah.
show in the second half, basically.
Jay Wright was at home clapping his head off because it was Jalen Brunson wetting him up in the third quarter. Remember, he rested like the last 9 minutes of this first half, and he just came out and it was just bucket, 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 bucket. And then Josh Hart came through and he was like, all right, I got it too. And then he was getting buckets, coming down transition, getting to the rim. Just defense, crazy. Just
Rebounding. I have rebounding in all caps in my notes in my phone. Just
double,
rebounding,
double.
rebounding was huge. He's like 6'5", and the Cavs had 2 7-footers out there, and he was out there amongst the trees with like one leg at one point, just like grabbing boards. It was insane.
Dude, Mobley should be ashamed of himself for the way he was rebounding that game, bro. Like I know I think he had 10 or whatever. Yeah. Mobley had 11 rebounds. They didn't matter. They did not matter. You want to know why Mobley had 11 rebounds and Jared Allen had 14 rebounds? Because everybody else in the team had 5. Nobody else had more than 5. And Donovan Mitchell had 5 in 44 minutes. Darius Garland had none. Okoro had 3. Like, that team cannot rebound. Their rebounding is atrocious. And the Knicks bullied them. It was Randall getting after it. It was Mitchell Robinson getting after it for all the faults that Mitchell Robinson had. He still had 5 offensive rebounds, 8 rebounds in total, and was just putting his fist in. Like, he was putting his elbows and his arms into Mobley, and Mobley was just getting bumped off his spot a ton. Hartenstein was giving him that work as well, and then Josh Hart comes through, and they're just like, the Knicks have a physicality that the Cavs can't match. They can't match it, and that's just because like they don't have their grown man bodies yet. Like, and that's part of the problem when it's like you're dealing with a team so young. Like, Evan Mobley was getting hammered for how long did he play? He played 37 minutes, and it was just hit. It was
on both ends, because
Yep.
like offensively, he was getting bumps from Randall, from Mitch, from Hartenstein, and then on defense, he had to guard Randall a bunch, and Randall was just putting his body into him, make sure to get some space. Like, he was just doing all he could. And you know, Mobley, he's gonna be up for defensive. He's up for defensive player of the year this year. God bless his soul this series.
I don't see it.
I don't see it this series, and he's gonna need like a million ice baths. Like,
yeah, like they're gonna wear down on you throughout the series. Like, that's the thing. Like, the Knicks are just gonna wear down on the Cavs, and I don't think the Cavs have the physical strength to deal with how strong the Knicks are.
They also just don't have the bodies either. Like, as you saw in this game, as the game went down, they just stopped playing Dean Wade. So like now their rotation is down to like what, 7 guys, and seven guys, and how many of them do they trust? Like, for real. Like, Karis LeVert was smoking layups. Rubio was making blunders, getting fouls.
Shetty Osman was their option tonight. I think he had 2 threes. But, like, if Shetty Osman is your option, then that's the problem.
And I don't know if he was closing down the stretch because of what happened to Okoro. Okoro got knocked in the face by Randall.
Best foul I've ever seen in my life. Julius Randle was out here sucking punching. I don't give a damn. This is the playoffs.
I mean, like, who knows? He might, like, that might be a thing where if Okoro's concussed, he might miss the next game or 2. Like, I don't know, depending on the days of rest situation. But yeah, I don't know if Okoro didn't close because of that. I mean, the Knicks were happy to leave Okoro open. He was missing every single 3. And that's what we expected the Knicks game plan to be. But yeah, I mean, they left Chetty Osman on an island out there, and Jalen Brunson took full advantage of it. Just getting clutch bucket after clutch bucket. Shout out Jalen Brunson. This is the reason why you brought him here. I mean, how many times are we going to say this all year? But these are the moments that you brought him here for, to take over in these situations. Randall didn't have it going in the second half. Most of the Knicks guards and wings couldn't do anything outside of Josh Hart offensively. Shout out Josh Hart for that big three, by the way. That
Yeah, that three was nuts.
like Josh Hart is just like if he's gonna keep being like the guy that just hits like the timely threes all the time, then I have no problem at all.
It's like the
if he
Quickly
just
thing from last year, where like Quickly would always hit a timely three when the Knicks were trying to make a run or like put it over the top, and Josh Hart just apparently just got that through osmosis, and it's great. Like he's not going to take a lot, we know that, but the dude's going to make them when he needs to make them, and cannot complain about him anymore. Like I love watching him play, man. He just
did everything. Like you would not tell this is his first playoff game. Like he is that type of player that we all said this too. He said like he is the type of player that's gonna come through in the playoffs. He's gonna really perform well in the playoffs because like he just does all the intangibles, all the little stuff, and he just makes all the timely plays. And that's what you saw tonight. On a night where Grimes, IQ, and RJ just did not have it offensively, he was able to produce and be that third guy. So shout out to him. And I assume as the series goes on, I think Grimes will get more comfortable. I think IQ will definitely get more comfortable, and he won't have to do all that he did tonight. But like when he is able to do these type of things, it's like the little icing and the sprinkles on top for everything else that he does. But yeah, I mean, shout out to Villanova because they came through for us tonight in a huge way. But yeah.
What a fucking game, man. Oh my god. Knicks in 4.
I mean, I saw a post today by a tweet by Ariel just recently. He said that the Cavs, they have about like 4 guys that they trust. And let me see if I can find the tweet.
Yeah, they don't trust it. Like they do not trust anybody on that team. Like Isaac Okoro was smoking. He was smoking his threes. The Knicks were just letting him shoot. And then when he got the ball, they were just like sagging off the paint because if Isaac Okoro was making threes, then you're gonna live with that. Evan Mobley, sorry.
So here's Ariel's tweet. A Pacheco at NBA if you're not following. Does great stuff on there. Cavs only having 4 guys they can trust is a big problem. They can't put together any lineup that gives them a good combo of shooting and defense. It's an even bigger problem when one or more of those 4 sit. Yeah, and I mean, of those 4, you have 2 of them who just can't handle the physicality, or I think the physicality is going to wear on them, like you said, long term over this series, just because like they just don't have the physical bodies for it, as well as they just don't have like the physicality themselves to do it. So,
yep, like their problem is they have one really good guy, and then they need a second option. Honestly, if Garland is going to be tight like that, that's a problem. And this is the good and the bad with Mitchell, where it's like Mitchell is going off crazy, but no other guys get into a rhythm. And even if he scores again 38 and he was efficient doing it, he took 30 shots. He took more than double the shots of anybody else on the team. And the Knicks beat them. And then look at their minute distribution. Garland played 43, Mitchell played 43, Allen played 43, Mobley played 38. And nobody else in the team, aside from Okoro, played 20. Like, Karis LeVert played 18, D-Wade played 7, Ricky Rubio saw minutes in the first half, never saw minutes again. Shetty Osman was closing down the stretch because Isaac Okoro gave you nothing and was probably hurt. They need to get 2 other guys who are reliable offensively, and as much as Evan Mobley is good defensively, offensively, that dude is still giving you 14 points a game. Like, he's not there yet. Darius Garland needs to be not tight, but he's not there yet. And the Knicks just have so much depth that even when guys like Quickly and RJ and Grimes struggle, Hart can come in and be a really big star on the bench. Obi Toppin can give you solid contribution. The team, like, this is basically, you can mostly match Mitchell's production with Brunson, and that's what happened. You have Randall and Garland who are like battling it out. They basically washed. And then it's just the Knicks have so much more depth than the Cavs that it comes down to, can the Cavs starters significantly outplay the Knicks starters? And that didn't even happen tonight. So if the Cavs starters can't get it going like that, then it's looking grim for the Cavs. I think Mitchell will win them a game because like he's just insane, and credit to him, he played his ass off. But yeah, man, I think the Knicks is the fact that they didn't play anybody more than 33 minutes this game is nuts. Like Randall played the most at 33 minutes, but then you see 31 for RJ, 26 for Mitch, 26 for Grimes, 29 for Brunson, 23 for Quickly, 15 for Obi, 32 for Josh Hart, 22 for Hart, White Hart, or actually mixed race Hart. But then again, wait, no, they're both light skinned. Damn. But yeah, so like the Knicks have insane depth. They can keep their guys fresher than the Cavs can keep their guys, and the Knicks just have more options offensively. And the Cavs can't score.
I mean, everything that we kind of like predicted to be in our favor before this series started kind of came to fruition already in game one. The rebounding thing. We knew the Cavs were a bad rebounding team. We know we were a dominant, one of the best rebounding teams, if not the best offensive rebounding team in the league. And we saw that come to fruition tonight. We also said our depth is going to be a problem for them. Like you said, look at the minutes distribution tonight. Like this is not even something that's typical of a Thibs team either. And like some people may point to, Jalen Brunson's early foul trouble and Randall's conditioning, maybe Thibs sees that this is something that worked and he continues to do it. But like this is something that has been sustainable for the Knicks pretty much for the whole year. You probably see Jalen Brunson's minutes probably go up more just because he won't be in foul trouble. But yeah, I mean, we'll see how things go. Game 2 is going to be very interesting to see how the Cavs, I guess, try to adjust. I don't know what more they can do besides, just hoping more shots go in, honestly. But like
that's their adjustment. That's their adjustment. They have no adjustments. This is the problem. Like they do not have a way to adjust. What are you going to do? You're going to trap Brunson more. You're going to try to double Randall, get the ball out of his hands. I think they forced how many turnovers? They forced 13 turnovers out of the Knicks, and the Knicks forced actually forced less turnovers than the Knicks did. But like, think about from that perspective, it's like, do you think that? Okay, I shouldn't say this out loud. Do you think Julius Randle will shoot better than 7 to 20 in this series? Probably.
Hopefully.
Do you think that RJ Barrett will go 2 for 12 again?
Probably Hopefully not.
Do you think Emmanuel Quickly is going to not make a field goal? Probably not. And do you think he's going to have 3 turnovers that were really, really rough? And they were all of them under like jump passes? Probably not. Like the Knicks' margin of error is so much higher than the Cavs.
Knocking on wood, by the way.
Yes. Because they just have significantly more depth. So I think if you take game 2, I think the Cavs are done. I think the Cavs are done if you take game 2.
I mean, winning game 2 is not impossible.
Well, you already have home court advantage.
You're playing with house money in game 2.
Yeah, and if you win game 2, done. Because then the Cavs are horrible on the road.
And we've been better as of late. I mean, scratch those last couple games, whatever they were. They don't count. They don't really count the end of the year games. But I mean, we've been awesome at home as of late. And just like seeing Brunson be able to cook on that MSG court in the playoffs, woo! Oh my gosh,
crowd could be going crazy.
Like, I mean, the Cavs. I like how the Knicks were able to, for the most part, keep their composure. The Cavs crowd was rocking today. I'll give them that. Like their crowd was rocking, especially to start the game.
It was rocking like white people.
Start the game, it was loud as hell. Like if you were watching the MSG broadcast, they had Rebecca Harlow giving like the sideline report at the beginning of the game. You could not hear a word Shorty said. They kept trying to raise her volume, and it just it felt like the Cavs just kept getting louder and louder. It's like, what the hell's going on? But yeah, I'll give them that. Their crowd was on fire today, at least to start the game. And shout out to the Knicks for pushing through the early foul trouble of Brunson, and the struggles of their guards and wings, and being able to push through and get a win like this on the road. That's huge for this team. I mean, this team, like the rotation is full of all these young guys that the Knicks have like drafted and gathered from around the league. So it's just great to see them put together this win. Yeah.
Yep. There's just such a high ceiling on this team for this series, man. I'm excited. I'm excited. And also first road win, game one since I forget what they said, but it was like 10 years.
Since 1999, first game one road win for the
Damn.
Knicks. This is the first road win for them in general since 2013.
We take those. We take those.
A lot of sad history with the Knicks, but it's good to see the Knicks, righting all those wrongs this year, or at least, making good on them. All right, let's get into comments. Get into some comments. Shout out to everyone that's been in here. We got 34 live viewers. Make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe. We're on our way to 1K subs. So all that you do helps us out a ton. Brian Benjamin back in here early. He was leaving a ton of comments. He said, "Are we watching the RJ game?" I might have been watching the defensive highlights, and he said, "Never mind, spoke too soon." um,
Yeah.
but yeah. Jojo Liddy says, "Good gritty win. No one played their best. Spider went off, and we still stole the win. With RJ in particular impressed despite not scoring. Has he been listening to the Strickland?"
Yeah, I hope he has, bro. Shout us out. Would appreciate it.
Shout out to RJ if he's listening to the Strickland. I mean, he's probably hates Schwinn at this point. Like he probably deeply hates Schwinn if he's listening to the Strickland. But at least he came out defensively and performed. Like we said earlier, if he can just give us this baseline of defense for the whole series, and he's going to be guarding Darius Garland for the most of it, then hey, I just knock down a couple more open shots, and I am good, honestly.
So all we need is like 15. Just give us 15. That's all we need. If you can have a third guy to give us 15, the team is good. We're good. Like IQ, Grimes, and RJ shot 3 of 21 from the field. There is so much room for improvement on that. And if one of those guys can give us like a 15 to 20 game, we're cooking with gas.
But a lot of people were right with this series. They said that this series, is going to be one of those series where the scores aren't going to be as crazy as that last game was.
Oh, you mean we're not getting treated like the fucking Hawks?
No, not even just that, but like the last game where
130, 116.
yeah, that game, like everyone was like, "Oh, it's playoff preview." Even us, we're guilty of saying it was a playoff preview, but I think it's this today's game is a much more accurate depiction of what this series is going to be. Just because the Cavs defense is still good enough to give us problems, but like it's not good enough to like completely shut us down. And we still had to overcome Jalen Brunson foul trouble, Julius Randle, shooting like shit, IQ playing awful. Like that's been very rare as of late. Grimes giving you nothing. Like all those factors. You think that some of those are going to change going forward in this series. So maybe the scoring stays this low, maybe it doesn't. But I mean, I think these are going to be gritty wins. I think.
Yep. And that's how we like them. I don't want no damn pretty win. I don't want no 120 spot fest. Nah, give me the hustle shit. Give me the shit to make Patrick Ewing get like a tingle in his loins. I need that.
Walt Clyde Frazier says Hart deserves the entire fucking flower shop tonight. He definitely does. I mean, I thought he was done after he was on the floor in a heap, and he comes down and hits a freaking big three. Like, wow.
It was a step back. It was a step back unassisted three. That's the first unassisted three he's hit all season for the Knicks. Oh, no. All season. That was the first unassisted three he's hit all season, and he hits it in the biggest game of his life, in his first playoff game, to put the Knicks up 2 when they were down 1. And it was like, I think less than 2 minutes left in the game.
He just showed so much composure down the stretch. Like I said, like you couldn't even tell that this was his first playoff game. So, shout out to him for, just continuing to be consistent, continuing to like not let the moment really falter him or anything for that matter. So if he can continue to give us this, then I don't know, man.
They're
It's
saying
gonna be
Isaac
rough for the
Okoro don't.
Cavs.
They're saying Isaac Okoro don't have long in the league.
They was frying him all game on the timeline, and rightfully so. I mean, like they were legit. Like the Knicks just did not care if he shot the ball.
Yeah, like who do you care about this team scoring? Like it's Karis LeVert you care about. And so I'm sorry, it's Karis LeVert you're caring about. Just say that to yourself and understand what the point I'm trying to make. Like maybe he'll have a game, but like the Knicks just have way more options to turn to offensively and defensively. They can shut the fuck down because they're not going to shoot well because they don't have shooting. So I think the Knicks just match up so well with this team. And if Donovan Mitchell has a bad game, like this is Donovan Mitchell at his peak. If Donovan Mitchell has a game where he goes like 6 for 20, like if he has a random game tonight where he goes like 7 for 20, do you think they're winning that game? Hell no.
It's gonna be an ugly game for the Cavs.
Exactly.
He was legit like their only source of offense for a good majority of that second half. And I think for that second half too, I think Josh Hart did a really good job on him. Like Josh Hart was all over the place on him, and he just made tough shots. But like at that point, you just gotta like Josh Hart. Like on the MSG broadcast, there was like a Josh Hart, like a little thing where they were asking him, like it was like one of those studio sessions. They were asking him like, you know, like what's the key to guarding Donovan Mitchell, and he was like just being physical with him and not getting discouraged when he makes tough shots. And like that's the whole approach I think the Knicks have to take. Like you just got to tip your cap to whenever Donovan Mitchell just hits one of these ridiculous shots, because that's what he's gonna do. That's what he has to do to keep the Cavs alive in the series. Because they don't really have much going for them outside of him. And I mean, Darius Garland was able to like hit shots today, but like he hasn't played well against us all year. Like this was his first like pretty decent or good game versus us, and it wasn't really nothing that spectacular. It was enough to keep them close with us, but yeah.
Yep. It's just, man, I'm looking at the Cavs shot chart right now. So the Cavs took 21 shots, and Donovan Mitchell took more than half of them. That is their fourth quarter offense. So Evan Mobley played the entire fourth quarter. Jared Allen played the entire fourth quarter. Donovan Mitchell played the entire fourth quarter. Darius Garland played the entire fourth quarter, and Shetty Osman essentially played the entire fourth quarter. So Donovan Mitchell took 12 shots, made 5 of them, had 14 points in the quarter. Jared Allen took 4 shots. Evan Mobley took 3 shots. He missed them all. Shetty Osman took 2 shots, made them both. Where is their offense coming from if Darius Garland is not going to take a shot in the entire second half? Or rather, not into the entire fourth quarter. That is a problem.
Yeah.
That's a problem. And realistically, like, again, the Knicks suck shit. Randall went 1 of 7. RJ went 1 of 7. Like, they did not shoot well. They shot better in the second half, I'll say. But it was Brunson and Hart, realistically, and Obi. Brunson, Hart, and Obi. Otherwise, they really weren't getting much. So, there's the ceiling is high. The ceiling is high. I'll say that much.
Let's see. Jordan Bub says Grimes was excellent at point of attack all night long. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Grimes was great. He stayed with Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell, of course, like we just said, just hit tough shots. Like you just got to tip your cap to him at that point. But I think the Knicks they made him work for a ton of buckets. Like nothing was easy really for him tonight, and that's what you kind of have to have your game plan be going in this series, like against someone like Donovan Mitchell. You got to make him work for every bucket. If he makes them, shake his hand. If he doesn't, run back the other way. Get running on offense. Let's see, Zach Davis. Zach Davis says RJ also wasn't trying to shoot. Like he was taking shots he was supposed to take. Yeah, RJ didn't really force anything offensively, I will say.
Thank God.
But kudos to him for being aware of the moment. Yeah, he just like took open shots. There was a tough shot that he took, and he kind of had to take it. At the end of a shot clock over Donovan Mitchell, where he made the floater. But yeah, he wasn't really forcing anything tonight, and that was really good to see. I mean, I thought for the most part, like if he just hit his shots, he would have had a really good game today. But his shots just weren't falling. Defensively, he was there. His passing was there. Decision making was pretty good for the most part. Like, he just got to hit shots. That's it.
Yep, that's all you do. If he could hit shots, like we're cooking. Even
Yeah.
more so. Even more so.
Keeping up with the RJ theme here, Kid Kuro says this is the exact kind of game I want to see from RJ this series. Good defense, 6 assists, 4 rebounds, 4 steals. That one turnover he had sucked, but he was driving to pass more than shoot, and that's great.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean that's like one thing that we pointed out heading into this series. And a lot of people point out in this series is like, can RJ drive? Can he leverage his driving into creating opportunities for others? And that's what he did today. Can't complain.
Tony Pesto on Twitter. Good news is that was the worst punch Cleveland has to offer and pretty close to New York's best punch, and it went down to the wire. Donovan Mitchell scored 38 points.
That was our best punch? All right.
Okay, like Donovan Mitchell scored 38 points on 30 shots. For all the shit we're giving Darius Garland, he scored 17 points on 13 shots. He was actually fairly efficient. Mind you, the best player in the team went 7 of 20. RJ Barrett, the supposed third option, went 2 of 12. Emmanuel quickly did not hit a shot. And somehow that was our best punch. I love some good playoff answers, but like
that's nowhere near our best punch. Like, I love when people lie.
Yep. And also, like, you got worked on the boards. Worked. The Knicks out-rebounded you 51-38. That's not changing because you've been a garbage defensive rebounding team since the All-Star break. I think they've been the worst defensive rebounding team in the last 4 years. Slight present that, not me, but like, shouts to Pod Strickland. We get our info from Pod Strickland. But like, so like you are a really bad rebounding team. The Knicks are a really good rebounding team, and you have one guy in the offense who's like a threat, and he's getting his numbers, but otherwise nobody else in the team to score. Like I don't know what people saw, but like that's gonna be the series. That's gonna be the game. Rebounding and the Knicks being able to rely on their depth more than the Cavs can. And if Julius and RJ can get their shit together offensively, what do you do? And even if it's not Julius and RJ, Hart, OB, IQ, Grimes, game Tuesday.
So wow, Knicks and Cavs, they get some decent rest in this series. I'll say that.
The league knew. They're like, yeah, we want this one to go a while. This is going to be the one for ratings. Nobody want to watch the Nets, Sixers, and Hawks, Celtics.
Like, I took a nap during Hawks Celtics.
Yeah, that shows a blowout after the first quarter. I didn't care about that.
I took a nap. I'm glad I did because I'm well rested for the rest of the day.
Yep. Like that series was garbage, and they cut it to 12 at one point, and people are like, oh, there's a run coming. No, there's not. And then the Nets just, like, they rolled over and died because Spencer Dinwiddie went to hoop like he's a Globetrotter.
Zach Davis says, we are focused on RJ because he was the weak point coming into this game. But guy who was really surprisingly bad was IQ. Yeah, IQ had he looked like he just, like, had the jitters early in this game. Like, he was just making, like, a lot of, like, jump passes and, like, turning them in, throwing turnovers. I don't expect this to continue just because, like, this is just not who IQ is on a consistent basis. Like, he is someone that consistently makes the right plays even when he's not shooting well. So I expect him to come out in game 2. And if not game 2, I expect him to come out in game 3, especially on the home court, to come out and really, like, change, how he's playing.
Yeah, he's not going to change how he's playing. He just needs to hit shots. Honestly, analysis comes down to the guys who should hit shots should hit shots. I think their process was bad. I thought IQ was doing stuff fine. He was just tight, which makes sense. Like, first, like, getting back to the playoffs. Like, I expected Grimes to be tight. I expected someone like Mitch to be tight. They were tight. First game of the playoffs on the road, like hostile environment. You got to adjust. And remember, like these teams are two young teams, so like guys are going to be a little bit nervous to start off their series. It's fine. But the Knicks again won that series despite the fact that the guy on the other team went up for 38. So
Gotta take what you can get.
like the fact if you're able to like survive that, and you're basically telling yourself, okay, this guy needs to score like 45 for them to have a chance. The confidence you gotta feel is just so strong. Like you gotta make Darius Garland and Evan Mobley beat you. I don't know if they can do that. I don't know if they can do that. Like I think they can do that eventually, but they're 2 years away from doing that, dude.
Yeah. All right. Zach Davis also says, "Imagine if Grimes or Quick was hot offensively, this would have been over." Yeah, they're very lucky. And they saying this is our best punch, but like if Grimes is on a heater today, like he was the last like 15 games of the season, this game would have been over really quickly.
Yeah,
really quickly.
They were up 12 at one point, and I think they pushed the lead again to 10 in the fourth quarter. Like, it might have been the third. Third, like late third, early fourth. But like, yeah, then if the Knicks just kind of like sustained that, and then I think the game it might have been 8 late before like Donovan Mitchell went on that run, fueled by turnovers. Like the Knicks played decent basketball. I feel like they played a little bit sloppy with the ball towards the end. And again, the Cavs still couldn't beat them. So say what you want about best punch, but I don't think that was close to our best punch. That might have been a little jab. That was a little jab, and I think the Cavs threw out more.
It was a little love tap on the face. Well,
yeah, but we were slap boxing. The Cavs were trying to like start a fight.
Yeah.
And again, I cannot harp on this enough. Their stars played 10 more minutes than our guys. If that's going to be a trend of this series, they're going to be gassed.
Yeah.
They're going to be gassed. So, like, the fact that we're able to have the rest advantage, now we have home court, and now we've taken their best punch from their best player. All right, man. All right.
It's going to be a very fun and interesting series going forward. Very fun.
Okay, argue with Tony Pesto on Twitter. All right. Cavs are 9-6 when Mitchell scores 38 plus. LOL. The rest of the team is typically throwing if Mitchell feels the need to score that much. Why does Mitchell feel the need to score that much? It's almost because the rest of the team sucks offensively.
I mean, you had guys missing layups for the Cavs.
I mean, but
like bunnies. Bunnies.
And also, like, this is probably the worst game that Knicks have played against the Cavs all season. Aside from the 92-81 game. Like, think about.
I mean, no matter how ugly we play, we're still able to like still somehow beat them.
And that's the problem. Like, they can't beat us. They cannot beat us.
The only time they beat us is when the only time they beat us is from the fake Kevin Love and Dean Wade game. Like they literally had to have 2 guys go off for 8 threes.
And we still had that. We still had the lead in the fourth quarter. We were playing Evan Fournier, Cam Reddish, and Derrick Rose, bro.
I mean, there's a lot of reason for us Knicks fans to feel very confident in this series, just because we've seen, a consistent pattern of certain things continue.
All right. I'm gonna respond live on air. Y'all haven't beaten us since we changed the rotation.
I'm weak. Kurt Schultz says, "I think this was Tibbs' best game as a Knicks coach. He stole minutes for Brunson at the end of the third, and it helped. Really good minutes distribution. Trusted Mitch as he started to dominate in the fourth."
Yep. I think Mitch played a really rough 1-3. In the fourth quarter, he was great, and then he took him out right when he needed to and finished off it hard. Great adjustments from Tibbs, great rotations from Tibbs, trusting his team when he needed to trust his team. The right sub was Quentin Grimes and Isaiah Hartenstein, and I think a lot of us were talking about that on Twitter. He did it. It was great to see. I loved what I saw from him. I was a really big fan. Like, if he could coach like that, I feel like JB Bickerstaff, like, I think JV Bickerstaff is kind of tipsy in the way he will ride his he'll ride his bench, pause. Or rather, he'll ride his starters a lot. Once again, pause. Um, I think Donovan Mitchell was playing like close to 40 minutes to like end the season. Like, if you remember the run we were on like 2 years ago, where like um Julius was playing like essentially fucking the whole second half to win a lot of games. Like, you look at the minutes distribution since All-Star break, 31 for Mitchell. So I'm gonna go for Mitchell alone, but like uh 31, 31, 43, 24 in a blowout, 47 against the Boston Celtics, 34, 42, and then he misses a game, 40, 26 in a blowout, 37, 30, 34, 37, 40, 40, 40, 40 against, like, those will add up. Those are going to add up. And meanwhile, the Knicks rested a ton. Randall was rested. Julius was rested. And the guys who were getting minutes late in the series, like late in the season, weren't really getting minutes in the earlier season. So, like, whatever, man. Let Tony Pesta cook.
Someone asked on Twitter, so who won the Jordan Poole, Tyler Hero, RJ Barrett debate? I said their bank accounts.
Yeah.
Their bank accounts won the debate. They all won because they all got paid and they're all doing fine. So that's who won. None of us won. So
we all lost. Give me Harrison Barnes in this team. I'm desperate.
Walcott Frazier says, should Deuce get any spot minutes as a Mitchell mitigator this series? Think Thibs should have put him in when Donovan Mitchell got hot and Brunson was out with foul trouble in the second quarter. I mean, I think I like Thibs trusting who he had already on the court. Maybe he is Deuce. You know, I don't know. Maybe. I'm not complaining, but like I also, I wouldn't mind it either.
Who you taking out? You're not running 10. You're not running 10. He's not going to run 10. Like, you'd have to take
10 in the playoffs.
You'd have to probably take minutes from RJ.
That's if Brunson isn't like in foul trouble, if RJ wasn't as good defensively as he was.
Yeah.
Then maybe you try Deuce there, but like since RJ was good defensively today, he just trusted who he had on the court, and credit him for doing that.
He trusted them when he needed to trust them, and then when they saw they were getting tight, he switched it up, and the Cavs don't have that pivot. That's huge for the Knicks. The Knicks could just go to other guys, and the Cavs cannot. And again, you saw it in the fourth quarter where their four main guys played all 12 minutes, and their fifth guy was Isaac Okoro. They're probably going to – if Isaac Okoro played decently, they would have played the entire fourth quarter with the same starting five. That's going to be the series, dude. The Knicks are going to be able to rotate guys out, and the Cavs won't be able to do that. How do you respond?
We will see how they respond.
Also, yeah, if the Cavs are 9-6 when Donovan scores 38, that means that you guys don't win. Thank you, Chris Bernard. Like, yeah, so that means that you guys are really beatable when he goes up because he's probably the only person on the team worth scoring, which is probably going to define the series.
Martin B says, did you guys notice Brunson calming down Thibs after his turnover late in the game? And Thibs actually didn't call timeout. That's superstar aura. Yeah, I mean, there was a ton of moments where Brunson was just like telling guys like, hey, calm down. There was stretches, there was one stretch where they got the offensive rebound and like he didn't go right away. Like he told everybody, all right, ease up. We got the offensive board. And I think that's when he hit like one of those shots over Chetty. He hit the layup, I think it was. But yeah, I mean, he's just such a calming factor for this team. It's really great to have that for once.
This Kings and Warriors game is nuts. They're just flying around. Holy shit.
I've been like watching it out of the corner of my eye. I haven't really been paying attention to it.
Like going from like Cavs Knicks to this is just like it's jarring.
Walcott Frazier says Donovan had a dozen heroic highlights tonight, but the Knicks win erased that from the playoff psyche. Do you believe this was a demoralizing loss for the Cavs that could affect them in Game 2? I mean, maybe. It's hard to say until you like see the way they come out in Game 2. I know for the Knicks, when we lost our Game 1 on at home versus the Hawks, um in a similar, not in a similar way, but like a similar score. Like we lost by like 4 points or so, or like not even 4 points. We lost by 2 actually. After some BS by Bogdanovich. That was demoralizing for us because we lost on like a BS play. Um, but I don't know. It depends on. You won't know if it's demoralizing um until you see how they come out in Game 2. Now, if they lose Game 2 at home,
if they lose Game 2, you took their soul.
that is demoralizing.
If they lose Game 2, you took their soul because now it's how do we beat this team, and now we're going to day crib.
And MSG is going to be
on
rocking.
Fire. It's going to be on.
It's going
fire.
to be a Friday. It's going to be 8:30 on a Friday night. People are going to be getting fucking lit. Okay, people are going to be getting fucking lit
like
that
you,
day.
You could be dealing with a crowd that's about to see their team up 2-0 in the series. You about to like beer's going to be flowing. The Rangers are in the playoffs as well. So people, MSG is going to just be Garden is eating right now, dude. Like Garden is eating. Everybody in New York's winning right now. Like the energy that's going to be in that building will be special. And you're going to have to deal with that down 2-0 when y'all already suck in the run. You're below 500.
Yeah, it's good. That's when I think it'll be demoralizing. But I think this could be demoralizing too because it's like your best player gave you one of his better efforts, and it still wasn't enough. Despite the other team, you got their best player in foul trouble. Their second best player had a terrible second half offensively, and their role players, basically almost all of them, their key ones at least, with IQ, Grimes, and RJ, did not show up for the most part on offense, and you still lost. So that could be demoralizing when you really look at it. I mean, this Tony Pesta guy is probably like sucking in a whole bunch of copium right now, saying that this was our best punch, but like this was as far away as possible as it could be from the Knicks' best punch.
Dude, and if Donovan Mitchell does not have one of the games of his life, you're not even close. And you're telling Darius Garland you got to go win it for us, dude. And Darius Garland, again, did not take a shot in the fourth quarter, and he played the entire fourth quarter. They lose Game 2, it's Joker. Like, I would honestly say they lose Game 2, it's Knicks at 4. I'm that close to saying that. Because like I don't expect the Cavs to win a game on the road.
It wouldn't be crazy.
And if you sweep the Cavs, oof.
All right.
Okay, let me not get crazy. Let me not get wild. Let's keep it conservative. They go beat us once. Knicks in 3. Not. Dog, New York Knicks 15 wins away from the NBA championship. Thank you, John Rivers. Appreciate that.
JL says we also left a ton of points on the board in transition. RJ fucked up like 3 times. Mitch missed a dunk, and Randall had a bad pass as well. I mean, the Knicks they didn't have a good game, and we still won. Like, I don't get why people are like, Tony Pesta, I don't get why that guy on Twitter is just like saying this was our best punch. But the Knicks they left a lot to be desired out there on the court. And if I'm the Cavs, I'm like, damn, like that was our opportunity to really take advantage of the Knicks like not being themselves, at least offensively. Like if you look at the Knicks offensive rating, it tells a different story than what you saw on the court today. So
that's also the big thing too. The Knicks' vaunted offense didn't beat you with their defense. So if the Knicks find their offense, and we know you don't have offense, like y'all offensive rating is 8th, bullshit, because if the Knicks can score 120, the Cavs aren't beating them. I told you that was I've been saying that's the cutoff point because they don't score 120 unless it's a blowout against like a really bad team, but they don't score 120. So if you're the Cavs, you're looking at it as like we don't really have any consistency offensively aside from one dude.
maybe 1.5 dudes. We're going to need 3 guys to show up consistently. We're going to need to be able to survive their bench unit having really big games. And we're going to need to be able to slow down Jalen Brunson. And we can't do that if Isaac Okoro cannot stay on the floor because he's unplayable offensively. There are so many Cavs, there are so many problems the Cavs have to figure out. Meanwhile, the Knicks are just like, how do we stop Donovan Mitchell? And if the Knicks are able to do that, then I really do not see a pathway for the Cavs to win this series.
It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Vivek says, crazy part of tonight's game is we out-rebounded the Cavs by 13, and neither Mitch nor Hartenstein led the team in rebounds. Yeah. I mean, let me look at the box score. I think it was Josh Hart, right?
It was
Josh Hart and Julius.
Yep. 2 double-doubles.
Yeah. I mean, and RJ had, I mean, not RJ, Julius had the biggest rebound of his life, maybe, so far.
Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest game he's played in.
So far, yeah. I mean, game 1 on the road set the tone. You grabbed that rebound, you basically secured the win.
Also, the bars in hell because that was his best playoff game ever. That's his best playoff game ever, dude.
Yeah, the bar is an absolute hell for him with playoff games. I mean, the way he came out in the first half, I really thought,
he might have been on one.
Yeah.
I think what
happened just at the ankle. He's still dealing with the ankle, mind you. So it's that first quarter come out, and it's just you might as well just come out firing first half. I think he probably thought, I would probably be gassed. Remember, he hasn't played in 3 weeks. He's been nursing the ankle. And then he's doing a lot defensively and on the boards. So I'm not gonna beat him up too much for this game. I think game 2 will be better. All we need is 44% shooting for the field, bro. That's all we need.
Chris Bernhardt says Okoro was so bad offensively that Breen was being nice and saying, well, he's 4 for 4 from the line. Yeah, it's bad when they bring up your free throw stats. It's all right, we're really grasping for straws here now.
Yep. Man. Mike Breen might have been. I wasn't able to listen to it because some of us live in Texas, unfortunately. But I figured that was a good broadcast to listen to. All right, let's see. I'll take this bad Randall game over his bad games of 2021. Yep. Because I think he played really good defense on Mobley. He played really good defense on Mobley. Got after it on the board, and I feel like he was more of a willing passer than I think we saw in the last couple of games before he got injured down the stretch. And it's not that he's not a willing passer most of the time. It's just sometimes you can tell he's not thinking of passing. So it was good to see him play like that. Really good, really encouraging. And I think you can build off that.
Definitely. His bad games in 2021 too were just you could just see
he was tight.
He was upset the whole time, and he was just not going to recover at least mentally from it.
And he said it himself, the first games, all the energy that came out, they were just gassed. Cause it's hard to hype up yourself like that, dude. The amount that it takes to get yourself amped up until the crowd is going. It was just packed after COVID. You've had a great season. That was the first season of the playoffs in 8 years. That's a ton of energy, and they were just gassed. And then Bogdanovich summoning and hexing the ball just took the wind out of their sails. Do you think Cavs would treat it as a must-win game in game 2? You have to.
Of course, yeah, it's playoffs. Every game matters that much more now. They're not gonna take game 2 lightly and be you know what, we'll take, if we don't win this one, we'll get game 3. No, they gotta win this one, because if they go into game 3 down 0-2, going into MSG, the vibes are gonna be already low. And then once you see that crowd, and if the Knicks come out hot, if Randall has one of those games where he comes out going crazy in the first quarter, he's had multiple, a million times this year, and you get that MSG crowd rocking, or you get Jalen Brunson just going crazy, or you just get quickly hitting like some quick threes, just like, woo, it's gonna get real nasty real quick. I'm telling you that right now.
Yeah.
So like, if you go down 0-2 in this series, like they're definitely gonna treat game 2 like a must-win game. Like,
Yeah, you have to, because then the Knicks have a home court advantage. Knicks have home court advantage and a 2-game lead, and you're just gonna be stumbling at that point. So game 2 is house money for the Knicks, so they have no pressure. Ultimately speaking, if the series is tied 1-1 heading back to New York, you feel good about that. You feel like the Cavs know that they can't win on the road, and yeah, so the Knicks can like really take their heart in game 2 if they win it, and the Cavs are probably like, we know that. So game 2 is probably gonna be pivotal. And remember, it's not a series until the road team wins. So
it's a series.
It's a series.
Oh wow, Malik Monk and Andrew Wiggins really going crazy off the bench for their teams.
Yeah, Malik Monk, real hooper.
I got a parlay for both of them with 20 to score in this game, and they are like both halfway there. So
you're sick, right?
I am making money, so I'm not sick.
You are betting on the damn playoffs, bro.
Yeah, that's like the most consistent time to bet on it. Like, you know, the stars are gonna come out and score. Like, I bet you if someone had a parlay for like Donovan Mitchell, 35 points and five threes or whatever it was, like that shit cashed easy. Like, you just know stars are gonna perform in the playoffs, so it's much easier to bet on it. Like in the regular season, there's like so many variables. Like, oh, this random bench guy might randomly come in this game. Like, no one's doing that bullshit in the playoffs, unless you're like Ty Lue, who likes to pull bullshit like that.
True.
Brent.
Hey, what's up, Brent?
Hello, Brent. I was told Mobley was gonna look like Timmy D against us. Where was he?
I mean, like Randall shot bad, but I don't think it was Mobley's defense much more than it was.
Some people on Twitter were crediting Mobley for that. Like, they're like, Mobley's length really is bothering Randall on these shots. For me, it didn't even look like it, because like there was like some shots where like Mobley was really contesting them, and Randall just made them.
Yeah, like what probably happened more than likely is Randall hasn't played a game in 3 weeks, and then like Mobley was the closest defender in the area, and like I don't care. I'm sorry. I do not care about Evan Mobley's defense this series. I just did not feel it. Like, there was a couple shots maybe that you're like, oh wow, Mobley's really good.
His best play was the dunk in the first quarter, and was invisible ever since.
Yep.
Yeah, he was like, what was he? There was one point someone tweeted out he was like 3 of 10 in the paint at one point. I don't know if that number continued to get worse. I think that was like in the third or fourth quarter that was. But yeah, there was a point where he was like 3 of 10 in the paint. So
yeah, like you're looking at these possessions in the second quarter. Julius beats Mobley off the dribble. Allen stuffs him at the rim. Julius misses a bunny that should have been a foul. It's Donovan Mitchell guarding him. He misses a wide open 3. He probably just has to have his legs underneath him. Again, Mobley has like a really good contest on the jumper right there. Still hit rim. Like, I don't think it's Mobley doing anything to Randall. Wide open 3. He missed it. I'm just going through all his possessions now because I'm just like, this makes no sense. I don't know why you would even say that. Julius creates space. Mobley is ducking towards him. Yeah. Again, Julius creates space up and under. I think they call that the offensive foul. Yeah, they call it the offensive foul. Again, Randall wide open. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not really concerned about their defense. The hell are you watching?
No, I'm testing out some new stuff on the stream. So you got some background music here.
That's filthy.
But yeah, oh yeah, here's a good one from Chris Bernhard. Mavs fans had to be in hell watching the second half Brunson reenact last year's first round. Yeah, I know Mavs fans, they just in hell in general. I'm hoping like OKC jumps them in the lottery.
We're all hoping.
Because that would be hilarious for them to not even get their pick after trying to intentionally tank so they can get the pick. But yeah, I mean, it's got to be rough for them watching Luka's number 2 option from last year just come to New York, be the number 1 option, and win a playoff game versus the same dude he won a playoff series basically against last year. So
At that point, you just go, he owned your ass.
I think I saw today StatMuse posted, they said Jalen Brunson's 5-2 in the playoffs versus
yeah.
Spider.
Yeah, like, at that point, you just gotta hold that L, bro. Like, he on your ass, he better than you, and you can't beat him. He's out here doing somersaults in your head, and he's letting you up for 30. And when he saw Donovan Mitchell on the switch and treated it like food, like, oof, oof. Sam trying to get the chat in the mood with that music. Like, facts, bro. Like, why you down in the porno? Relax.
What?
That was a grade A, like, 80s
All right.
filthy movie music, bro. You gotta chill.
Wow. That was titled Lo-Fi, by the way.
All right, dude. You lying to the people. All right.
I must play something else now.
Okay.
These music selections are actually terrible. I'm gonna stop.
Where's the Ice Spice?
Yeah, you're trying to get us copyrighted. All right. Have UMG take down this whole stream right now. So JL says, all right, closing out this game after blowing a lead to go down 93-92 is special. I've seen them lose this game like 50 times in the Thibs era. This team is different.
They were losing these games earlier in the season.
They were, and they were losing these games last year too. Like,
yep.
Go watch. Actually, don't go rewatch last year's post game stream.
Lakers, Portland, Nets.
Oh, they're showing Jalen Brunson's bucket.
Ah!
Hey, look at Donovan Mitchell walking off the court pissed.
He was upset.
Yeah, yeah.
All series long, baby. All series long.
Getting that work. Chetty. Yo, I pray to God they keep Chetty Osman on this man in the fourth quarters.
Bro, they had no help.
They left that poor man on the island.
So Chetty Osman is like, help me. And Mobley's like, nah, bro, I can't do it. He gonna cook me too. I need defensive player of the year votes. I can't let him cook me. Like, oh my God.
But yeah, like when the stars come out to play, man. When the stars come out to play, Mobley was looking real regular in the light. And Mitchell Robinson's better than Jared Allen. Hold that shit.
He definitely showed him that.
Donovan Mitchell was so hyped to ruin his special night. He wanted to stick it to us. Yeah. Also, Donovan Mitchell was like trying to hoop his ass off to be like, you should have traded for me. This is a serious fuel by spot. If he loses,
oof. That's gonna be hilarious for us, by the way.
Oh, I need the narratives, bro. I need them. You went all in on Donovan Mitchell, and you can't beat the Knicks. I'm sorry, bro. If you lose this series, you got to hold that on the chin. But somehow they get to be the really good team that's contending and also get to be the scrappy underdog. It makes no sense. And meanwhile, the Knicks supposedly have all the pressure on them, despite the fact they haven't made any all-in moves, and nobody expected them to be in this position in the first place. Y'all were saying we would be the 10th seed. And y'all was calling Jalen Brunson overplayed and overpaid. And you're like, Julius Randle sucks.
What are they doing over there? Our highest ranked player heading into the season was 61st, and it was RJ Barrett. Like,
how times have changed since then.
And somehow, like, you got Steven A talking about, if they lose this series, nothing matters anymore. It's like, no, it's not how that works, bro.
So dumb. Hate them.
And if we win that series, it's just the Knicks got lucky.
No.
It's oh boy.
JL also brings up teams going down 2-0 in a series have only won 20 times in 282 series in a 7-game series. That is 7% of the time.
Tell you, take this home. Take this home. If they go up 2-0, that series is done. They're not winning. They're not winning it.
Knock on wood.
True. I don't want to be embarrassed.
You don't want this to come back and haunt you. Huglife says neither Mitchell or Garland are some quick twitch bursty guards. What if combination of words there, plays right into our physicality of our perimeter defenders. Yeah, definitely. They're not like the type of guards that like
Yeah.
give us issues. I'm
Like
trying to
Mitchell's
think of
that
what guards give
Mitchell's
us
that
issues.
usually the guards that give us issues are like, I mean, I can't really think of a guard that gives us issues. Like Luca gave us issues, but Luca gives everybody issues. But it's more like that where it's like you're stronger. The Knicks defense is all about physicality, and like how I said, so like if you're able to out physical the Knicks, then you are able to like really wear down the perimeter defenders. But how many guards in the league can out physical the Knicks? Not a lot. I think Donovan can to an extent because he's more like he's stronger than he is like athletic. He is athletic, but he's also just like really stockily built. Um, but yeah, like over the course of the series, I wouldn't be surprised if like the physicality kind of wears him down. Like this was game one off of rest, so having to bump into Hart, Grimes, RJ, Randall, for an entire series, and hell, if Deuce gets minutes, like having to bump to Deuce, look, Deuce is strong despite the fact he's 6'1". It's a lot, man. Like the physicality is not being like really talked about much, but it's gonna matter and it's important.
Yeah.
And even also JB Bickerstaff saying obviously our bench has to give us a spark. It's not coming, bro.
Dog, it hasn't been giving you a spark all year. It's not happening right now.
Like it's not gonna happen. They don't have a
Like,
bench.
are you gonna who are you gonna insert?
Dean
Like, who
Wade,
is he
bro.
going? Like, he took out Dean Wade because Dean Wade was like legitimately giving them nothing.
Yeah, he didn't play the second. D-Wade didn't play the second half. Ricky Rubio didn't play the second half. Like you might have to go to Danny Green, bro.
Danny Green. Like, who are you gonna put out there? You're gonna put Danny Green, you're gonna put Raul Neto out there, you're gonna put Lamar Stevens on the court. Like, God bless your soul if you put those guys out there.
Yeah.
Danny Green will be cooked in like an instant.
Yeah, we'd be taking him off the dribble.
Like Jalen Brunson will be begging for that switch, begging.
RJ Barrett might actually score over him.
Just might. I mean, Jalen Brunson was like legitimately just walking these guys down the court to end the game, and just coming up slowly, doing a little ISO, dancing on Chetty, doing whatever he wanted.
He'll be doing this the entire way up the court. Just this. And IQ's doing this. Like, also, low-key, we got some really good dances.
Jordan Bub says, I heard from an analyst that Chetty Osman as a starter is the answer for the Cavs. If you do that, Brunson is going off for 40-plus points.
You can't put Chetty Osman on an island. Did we not learn this?
Hey, if the Cavs want to make him a starter,
by all means,
do it. Hey, I will not. You will not hear any complaining from me.
Chetty Osman played 10 minutes and Brunson went 4-9, 1 or 2 from 3. Like he had 9 points on no free throws, mind you. Ethical hoops.
Yeah, I mean, hey, make Chetty a starter, please. Please do it. Please do it. We tried to tell Cavs fans about like what their deficiencies were and how we would expose them. And despite having a shit game from us, we still were able to do those things to a T. So,
yeah, man, it's gonna be a dogfight for them. And again, they have way more questions than we do because the Knicks just have a lot more depth, and that is basically just like, okay, you need to play better. You need to make more shots. The Cavs have to figure out their bench. They have to try to buy their guys minutes. If they go down 0-2, it's a matter of like having composure on the road. It's a lot, man. It's a lot. I'm not envious of them. Guarantee that much.
yeah. Let's see. Jay also credits Grimes for hitting those 2 free throws. Huge free throws. Huge. We've seen this team fold in these moments too. Cause like, so shout out to JL for bringing this up. Cause like, this may seem like, nothing or like it may be little, but like Knicks have folded in these moments where they needed to hit free throws just to win the game and did not do it.
Yep.
So shout out to Grimes for hitting the free throws. This is a weirdly refereed game, by the way. I will say that. That's something I did not put in my notes because I just think that it impacted the game that much, but it was just very weird. We of course got the benefit of the whistle. I think that's just a quality of the way we play, anyways. We've always been a team that gets a lot of free throws, I think, all year, but it's just a matter of the fact of us being able to capitalize on the free throws. That's something that we have not been able to do. But today we were able to get our free throws, hit them, but like it was just a matter of like the way calls were being called. Like they were like weirdly letting it be physical in some moments, and then like being ticky tack in other moments. So it was
Yeah.
just like, okay, like what is the vibe of the game that we're going for?
We want the Cavs to win. Uh, yep.
JL says it would be comedy if the Cavs fans hyped up Okoro coming back just for him to be unplayable the entire series because he's a brick. I mean, that's basically what he was today. I mean, I know that he didn't play mainly because of like the injury, but like that's probably what's gonna happen anyways in some of the games in this series because like
You can't play him if he can't shoot.
yeah, it's like why is he on the court?
Like, and you can say that for a lot of other dudes. Why is like Ricky Rubio on the court? Why is Dean Osmond on the court? Like
Chetty Osman, you mean? You combine Dean Wade and Chetty Osman into one player.
Oh.
You might as well, Dean Osman.
Yeah, exactly. Like Dean Osmond, Chetty Wade, like they're all bums.
Oh man. But yeah. I don't know what else to talk about in this game. I mean, we got to get ready for game 2. Obviously, you know, Knicks, we want them to win game 2. I would love for that to be the case. So that way we go into MSG with a 2-0 lead. I mean, they're obviously playing with house money in this next game. So, like, you know, they can afford to lose, but I'd rather they not. Like, I'd rather just, like, take complete control of this series and have the Cavs, like, basically spiraling heading into MSG. So, yeah, we'll see how things play out.
If they take game 2, man, start booking tickets to Milwaukee. If y'all want to go to the games. That's all. That's all I gotta
do. All right. So I think that will do it for us today. You know, Knicks big win, big playoff win. Shout out Jalen Brunson. Shout out Villanova boys. Shout out RJ for his defense. Shout out, you know, Randall for getting us going in that first half. Knicks will play game 2 on Tuesday. So Knicks get quite a bit of rest. They get Sunday and Monday off.
Yep.
So that's good for you know the Knicks. Good for the Cavs, I guess, since the Cavs played their starters like the whole game, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we'll be back on Tuesday after game 3. Game 2, I mean. Wow, I'm jumping ahead. Game 3, game 2. Wow, I keep jumping ahead. After game 2. We'll be back after game 2. Hopefully the Knicks take another win. Shout out to everyone that's been rocking with us. Make sure y'all leave a like and subscribe. We are on our way to 1K subs. Make sure you check out everything Stricken related in the description. We got links to the site. Merch. We got new merch. We got the Jalen Brunson collection. We got the spring collection. We got the Emmanuel Quickland merch. You guys have been asking for that. It is here. Check that out in the link in the description. We got links to the Twitter and Patreon. Both ways to support us. We're also on Instagram, as you can see in the corner of your screen. Now that I remove this comment, at thestrick.land. Another great way to support us, as well as, you know, follow along with anything Stricken related. So definitely check that out. And yeah, we'll be back on Tuesday night. Knicks will play game 2 hopefully take a commanding 2-0 lead. We will see you all then. Thank you all for tuning in. Enjoy your Sunday and Monday and the rest of playoff basketball. Hopefully it's better than the first 2 games that happened today.
Hopefully it's better than the Hawks.
Yeah. Anything should be and could be better than the Hawks series. So, enjoy the next couple of days of playoff basketball, y'all. We'll see y'all on Tuesday. Peace out.